Diolch yn fawr. Felly, na i ddechrau o'r datganiad. Mae'r cyfarfod yma yn cael ei wedd-arlledu ac bydd ar gael ar-lein yn hwyrach ymlaen. Osod ydych, cyfarfod nawr. Diolch yn fawr.
Iawn, da ni'n barod i gychwyn Llundain.
Dan.
Diolch yn fawr iawn. Croeso chi gyd yma ar fore braf. Eto, mae'n dylu fan hyn rwan y byd. Braf ddim yn bell. Reit, ni'n drwy'r ymddiheuriadau yn wen.
Cynghorydd Louise Hughes, cynghorydd Kim Jones a Mr Tim Jones. Dwi ddim wedi gweld Elfed, dwi'n siŵr sy'n meddwl.
Iawn, rwy'n arall ymddiheuriad? Bydd agos, oce, diolch yn fawr. Rwy'n datgan diddordeb?
Mae llaw cynghorydd John Pwyllgor yn ys.
Iawn, John. Dwi'n glywed ti.
Rhif tri, Mr Cadeirydd. Pedant efo'r SMS.
Iawn, diolch yn fawr. Cofnodion. Dwi am gynnig bod rhain yn gywir, so rwy'n yn cytuno. Bydd agos, glwch chi dda. Dwi ddim yn gweld neb o'n mae'r sgrin yn ddu, a mae John yn yn di, oce. Pawb cydweld? Oce, dwi'n gweld. Brian?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Oce, iawn, diolch yn fawr.
Elwyn.
Fforymau mynediad lleol.
Elwyn, ydy bosib cael, sy'n pigo fyny cweit ar be oedd John yn datgan diddordeb ar, felly dim bosib cais, dim ysgolwyr. Trydydd cais yn ysgolwyr.
Y trydydd cais. Oce.
Diolch yn fawr, John.
Dwi ar yr SMS ac dwi'n terfynu fo.
Diolch yn fawr. Diolch.
Fforymau mynediad lleol, ia? Cymryd dwi o ail benodiad aelodau ar y fforymau.
Ia, mae Peter Rutherford yma, Gadeirydd.
Iawn, diolch yn fawr. Croeso.
Diolch, Mr Gadeirydd. Just yn byr, mae'n ddyletswydd ar ni ail penodi'r aelodau fforwm bob 4 mlynedd. A mae tymor yr un dwytha wedi goffa mis Mawrth, a da ni'n bod i ail cychwyn mis Mehefin nesaf efo'r pobl newydd yn Llundain. Ac da ni wedi cael, mae'r is-pwyllgor chi a'r awdurdod wedi penodi, wedi dewis yr enwau. Ni'n rhedeg trwy'r ceisiadau i gyd, a mae'r enwau yn y papurau. Nath hwn digwydd y mis Ebrill efo John Pugh, Tracy Evans, Merrow ac Tim Jones, a fi'n yn cerdded trwy'r o'r lle. So mae o'n mater o chi jyst styried be maen wedi dewis a os gyda chi rhywbeth arall i ddeud lle. Da ni'n un aelod yn fyr o ochr, mae y balans y fforwm di'r cyfringach yma, a da ni'n dyletswydd yn ei wneud hwnna hefyd. So mae hanner aelodau mewn ffordd yn tirfeiddianwyr, mae hanner yn defnyddwyr, a mae'n un person o'r sector anabledd. Ac efo'r gogledd, da ni'n un person byr o'r sector tirfeiddianwyr. A da ni'n gobeithio fydd y person o cyngor Conwy, mae'n un aelod o cyngor Conwy, yn cael i dod ymlaen trwy'r cabinet Conwy. A dwi'n gobeithio fydd hwnna'n o ochr tirfeiddianwyr hefyd, be dwi wedi clywed. So gobeithio fydd hwnna'n iawn. Ond mae yna ffordd i mabwysiadu pobl o ddan y ddeddf. Da ni'n dynnu o blaen dod ato chi os mae'n un specialist, da ni'n fyr rwy'n y sector mynediad i dŵr neu mynediad i events neu beth bynnag ydio. Mae'n digon haws i ni dod ato chi efo papur byr y tro nesaf os angen gael rhywun arall i fewn. So na i'n just aros be mae Conwy wedi ddeud, ond hein ydy'r aelodau sydd wedi recomendio mewn ffordd i gogledd a un y lle.
Iawn, Edgar?
Cynnig bod ni'n cymryd ar i'r pwyllgor.
Seilydd? Iawn, diolch yn fawr iawn. Pawb gydweld? Ewch chi ddangos? Diolch yn fawr iawn i chi.
Barod i gario, do.
Diolch am hynna. Awn ni mlaen felly i'r ceisiadau. Gorsa'r rhywffordd i'r gogledd o Beronwood Bedd Gelert. Richard, ie? Diolch Thomas. Iawn, dych chi'n glywed i?
Yes, Chairman, I'm just trying to set up the
Iawn, Richard.
application. Sorry, first time I've got this in class on a book. It's different than doing it at home.
I've tried that.
Oh, here we go. Apologies. Here we go. Morning, everybody. This is an application. Wow. I'm sorry. Application for the construction of a new station building in Bedd Gelert, which will include the ticket office, cafe, indoor and outdoor seating, toilets, office, and a covered waiting area and other associated infrastructure. We're just running through where it is. It's the red square in the middle there. Am I gonna? Yes. The middle, the road through from Pwyllgor through to Bedd Gelert is this one running around here. This is the Goat Hotel and Oberon Wood, and the centre of Bedd Gelert is around about here. The railway runs generally north-south in that direction there. So next slide. Just go back, give you a little bit of a history. 2005, 2006, permission was granted for a station building. They did start, and what you can see on this screen is a concrete base where they started the building, but that's as far as they got. So the current or the 2006 permission is still extant, and they could go through to finish building it. I'll just run through some, these temporary timber buildings are there to provide refreshments and tickets. And there is also you can see that the concrete foundation is quite extensive, if you can see through the fog. The picket fence shouldn't, it's just, I think, corral people so they don't fall off. And then there is also a temporary toilet building here as well. So we've got 4 temporary buildings here and the concrete foundations, which serves the members of the public at the moment. And I'll just run through some more photos. I mean, in the background as well, you can see the dwellings at Oberon Wood. So just some general views looking south towards Oberon Wood and the collection of temporary buildings. So as I say, they could go through and build the existing permission, but they decided to redesign the building to be bring it up to date to modern standards and to hopefully gain some sustainability elements as well. Policies, I mean, all policies of the local plan, but generally it's it does fit in with all these policies of historic environment. It is within the Pwyllgor conservation area, so that has to be taken into consideration. Sustainable design, they are including photovoltaics on the roof, and it's there for to provide facilities for tourism and accessibility, all access for ability for all ability persons. I'll just so the bottom picture there is what has got permission and could be built through. It's a very much more traditional railway. It's rendered with brick coins, slate roof, and that would fit onto the concrete slab. The top one is what they're applying for now, and what they've done effectively is change the ridge line from an east-west orientation to so that the face of the ridge is south, so they can take more advantageous benefits from solar gain and photovoltaics. There is an area in the middle of quite extensive photovoltaics, and then photovoltaics on the south-facing face of the building. The scale of the building is identical. It will fit onto the concrete slab as built, and it is actually slightly lower. The ridge is actually slightly lower, but when I say slightly, it is only 10 centimeters. It's timber clad as opposed to rendered and brick coins. So I'll just move on to next slide. As you can see, if we take a look at the top right-hand corner, that's the one facing onto Oberon Wood with photovoltaics, whereas previously it was a ridge. So that's what they're trying to take advantage of in switching the ridge lines. Interior, this is what has got permission and could be built. It shows in the middle large public area. Just going back to the 2006 permission, it was a permission or a committee decision where committee at the time did restrict by condition that there would be no cafe and the retail sales would be restricted to railway paraphernalia and related items. There's toilets, there's a reception area, waiting area, and small office area. Subsequent to getting permission, the Highland Railway did actually appeal against that decision or the condition to restrict no cafe and retail sales, which they were successful at. So they can build this up and have all that area for cafe and resale. So the use is identical now to what has been given permission in the past. So really what we're looking at is the design and the sustainable credentials of the new build and the materials used. There are objections from I'll just run through. This is what the layout of the new build. So the retail and cafe on the left, and then all the servicing and toilets on the right. So, and then there's outdoor seating on the right and a covered seating area and waiting area facing onto the railway line. So again, identical use, but probably a bit better layout and more sustainable and better for less able persons. Moving on. I mean, I'm satisfied with the design. It does help bring it up to modern day sort of feelings about materials, and I'm quite content that it does protect the conservation area, and getting rid of all those temporary buildings will in fact enhance. It has got sustainable credentials, so the conclusions I've drawn is that it's probably a little bit better than the previous design, which is more traditional railway. So the recommendation is to grant permission, start within 5 years, usual ones, removal of PD rights. Condition 5, that means of access one, there is a track that leads through from Oberon Woods, which obviously the residents of Oberon Woods are concerned about construction traffic coming through there. So there was a condition previously to restrict or no access through Oberon Wood at all. I've recommended that here as well. What wasn't there in the previous one was securing biodiversity. Unfortunately, the railway company did remove some oak trees that were protected. Now we can, through this permission, if members are mindful to approve, we can now put this securing biodiversity condition on to plant some more trees back between the building and Oberon Wood, which will help with views across and any fears of smells or noise coming from the cafe and the customers. So I'm hoping that we'd be able to secure that with the company, and also a scheme of external lighting to ensure that there's no drift of lighting towards Oberon Wood and protect our dark skies reserve. So the recommendation is to grant the current building design.
Iawn, diolch yn fawr.
Oh, yeah.
Iawn, diolch. Dwi'n gweld hwn. Ga i ddweud ar y dechrau, mae 'na gryn wrthwynebiad i hwn, mi jyst i fod yn dryloyw, dwi wedi cael llythyrau bersonol gan bobl, a jyst roedd hi'n datgan hynny ar y cychwyn. Reit, so nawn ni gychwyn wan. Pwy sy'n gynta? Jiwn?
Diolch Cadeirydd. Mae bryder ymnadwy yn lleol amdan y gais yma. Dwi'n meddwl bod yna 27 litera wrth nebu ddoth i mewn. Da ni'n wedi gweld hynny. Mae'n un dwi wedi gweld sy'n gwneud wedi. 2 i'r dros ym wedi. Mae hynna'n lot i bentra bach. 3 chans ar y rhestr ffolwyr yr 3 pentra. Dyma 27 a bosib ei hynny bod 2 o bobl, mae hynna'n lot o bobl o pryder. A pryder ydi o fyd. Beth sy'n bechod efo'r gais yma di, does o neb yn gwrthnebu cael ei rhywbeth yna a clirio lle. Does o neb yn gwrthnebu hynny. Mae pawb yn derbyn o hynna a bod o wedi cael hawl, a hefyd bod ni pawb yn dall, bod o wedi ennill ar apel a wedi ennill ar apel a cael y siop. Dyna ddim yn broblem o gwbl. Ond mae hon o flaenau ni heddiw, mae'n ymddyluniad hollol wahanol yr un enillwyd ar apel. A mae bobl wedi rhaid i meddwl i'r un ar apel. Mae'n dweud fan hyn bod well profiad i ymwelwyr. Mae'n chapur allan ni fan hyn. Iawn, dwi eisiau ymwelwyr cael profiad da iawn, mae'n bwysig, ond eisiau profiad da i trigolion lleol hefyd. A sa chi'n gweld ar gyda'n mynd yn ôl, a na'n gofyn i Richard, dwi'n mynd yn ôl i'r gadlis gyfan, ond sa chi'n sbio ar y dyluniad ar gwynebu'r de i lawr at y tai. Oedd yn gwreiddiol fel y blaenau nhw. Iawn, dyna beth nhw'n weld y ffenestri, dyluniau adeilad fela. Ydych chi'n weld rownd o, chi'n gweld o, mae'n fynydd yna, fe weld i'n bwrw tapidio. Y dyluniad sy'n mor rwan, mae fela. Byddwch chi'n bydd. Allan, dyna sy'n nhw'n weld. Dyna sy'n nhw'n weld yma. Efo hynna. A ben hynny, mae o yn paneli solar, ac mae'n edrych yn drefol iawn iawn. Hwna'n un o gwrthnebau mawr. Toileda yn un gwreiddiol o'r toileda ochr draw i'r tai, gan pell. Mae toileda rwan ar ochr y tai. A mae heat source pumps na a vents. A cofiwch am hwnna yn mynd i chwythu allan at y tai. Ac styriwch am y tai, pyn bach yn is i lawr, felly pan fydd yr aer yn dŵad. Paneli solar mawr. Mae hyn yn bryder. Mae haid i ni fod yn falus fan hyn heddiw yma. Ia? A dwi dyfynnu dwi rwan, beth gael ei ddeitha fi, pan dwi'n cyrraedd y cwmpas be gael. Dwi wedi cael y lambastio, na beth o, mae'n adroddiad, wedi cael ei fabwysiadu gyda ni yn y pwyllgor yma, eto ar y dydod, ardal cadwraeth, beth gael at Ann Amor. Mae bobl yn dweud, dwi wedi cael y lambastio ond bod fi dydy paneli solar. Ia, mae'n hain i gofio hyn o'n. Wedi cael lambastio ond bod nhw. Dy'r parc yn dweud, mae'r adroddiad yn dweud, bod yn beth hyll i gael mewn ardal cadwraeth paneli solar. Dwi'n mynd cytuno fyny, dwi'n mynd o pob cael paneli solar. Ond dyna di'r, math o beth gael ei ddweud. Ia? O, ffenestri mawr ar adeilad, mae nhw eisiau heddiw yma, a hyn, heddiw yma. Yr un gwreiddiol, ffenestri bach o'n nhw, a tas sgwar mewn stisio. Ie, ffenestri mawr. Ges i ffasiwn draffath dyfynu dwi. Da ti gweld y draffath ges i gael pennas mawr ar estyniad o'n i isio, a di methu. Diolch rhaid argraff o tren bach, os da ni dal yn dweud na tren bach di hon. Ie, dim y tren mawr neu lein, tren bach. Diolch rhaid argraff o tren bach i bobl. A un peth eisiau codi. Wedyn sy'n codi, mae rhaid swn i'n meddwl hefyd yn y llythyrau, swn i'n meddwl y caffi neu'r bwyty. Mi o yna yn yr cais dwyriol hefyd, lle i bobl eista, sa'r rhan fwyaf mewn. Dim hefo golygfa neis i sbio allan. Da chi'n cyfri faint o seddi neu cyfers, maen nhw'n dweud yn yr diwydiant bwyd, sy'n yna yn y gais y blaenau ni heddiw yma. 32 o seddi mewn, hefo byrda, hefo byrda, 48 tu allan, 80 cyfer, 80 sef, o fanna. A mae'n i fi feddwl, os yw'r bos meddwl yn un lot, os dwi'n cyn iawn ar tren bach, mae tren bach, Cynllunio yn ei gwaith arbennig o dda ac yn cyflogi, a mae gen i barch mawr iddyn nhw. Dwi'n gweld nhw'n barus iawn o'n hyn. Dwi'n gweld hyn gridi. Ia? Steision Bangor, sef prif steision ni i gogledd gorllewin yma, y ddau sir. Nes i gyfri faint o seri oedd yn y caffi, a siap caffi bach, pob i bod yna, mae'n siŵr do, caffi bach. Ia? 16 sef sy'n steision Bangor. 32 mewn o'n hyn. Oes cytuno ac yn steision Bangor, 2 sef eistedd ar allan, dwi'n meddwl. Ia? Mae'n neud yr argraff y fan hyn, de. Steision Bangor, dych chi'n dyna i ddal tren, dyna dych chi'n neud. Dyna i ddal tren, dych chi'n mynd i ffwrdd, a dych chi'n cael copi'r panna, da, sydyn o bona. Di hwn yn gais fel hyn, ydi. Mae hwn yn gais eistedd nhw'r bwrdd. Ia? Mynd yn ôl fan i'r cyfarfodydd, gael cofio dyddiau. 90 mae'n siŵr, cyfarfodydd cyhoeddus yn Bedd Gelart. Rhai, y chwyrn erbyn y tre. Ni fe fawr anna ni, wel, dwi'n bod gan i weld beth gynnig a beth ddaw o hyn. Hwbio'r hawl, a dyn mae eisiau meddwl beth yw'r tren gynnig. Beth yn y gynnig oedd, sa tren yn dod â busnes i mewn i Bedd Gelart. So bod efo tren a dod i lawr i'r pentra i brynu nwyddau ac i brynu pethau nesio. Diolch yn edrych felly rwan. Ia, 80 sef. Be sy'n poeni fi de, fan hyn? Ia, a rhaid ni gysidroen o ddifrig calon o. Ond os gyda i bod y cynllun yma yn mor sefyll wan, adeilad modern, ffenestri mawr, lle profiad da i ymwelwyr, mae'n i ddenu bobl i mewn na. Dim bobl sy'n dod ar y tren, os cyfych mar y tren, fi gwch chi brynu diod, beth bynnag, os ydych chi siarad bwyd, dwi'n mynd ama. Ydych chi gwybod sicr, ydych chi brynu panediad teg o beth. Dyn nhw'n mynd i dod o Bedd Gelart ag yn Ormon ar y pella. Ia, a Bedd Gelart, o Cynarfon, neu Port. Port efo lle mawr, i cael panediad teg, hwnnw'r sefyll felly fan o, a i wneud na. Cynarfon y lle modern iawn, fyna ddyle. Oes gwirioneddol angen hyn yn Bedd Gelart ydy. Ia? Ydyn nhw'n mynd i ddenu bobl i mewn. A nes i'n meddwl am hyn, tan blwyddyn dwytha, es i rwy'n y dwytha fi'n lleol, dwi'n mynd i tan bwlch. Plas meddwl fi, na, ci. I'r station, dwi'n sy'n dal tren. Na, dwi'n mynd i'r caffi tan bwlch. Ie, mae le da i gael panad a cacan, a llon caron yn mynd yna. Gret, a dwi'n hyrwyddo wan, station pas tan bwlch na. Mae yna bobl mynd yna. Dyna y pryder di o hyn mynd i ddigwydd yma'n hyn. Os di hynny'n digwydd, a bobl mynd yna, ys mae'n drud i fynd ar y tren bach, mae'n drud. Ac mae'n aml iawn pan ydych chi'n holi bobl ddiath, be maen nhw'n mynd, a pan mae'r bell maen nhw'n mynd ar y tren, only to the wooded parts. I'r Llanbwch, ia, ddim bell. Achos mae'r hyfryd i dilu. Dyna di'r gwir, mae'r hyfryd i dilu, a mae plant o bod wedyn, maen nhw'n mynd i un lle bach ac yn ôl. Pryder ydy, a dyna fydd bobl yn dod i Bedd Gelart, fi'n eistedd i weld y trens, ac ddim yn wari am y pentra. Mae pawb gyda llaw yn bodlon iawn bod nhw'n ei lle cael tocyn yna, os mae yna wedi bod yn broblem hefyd, mae wedi cael tocyn. Ia? Ond os di tren y llawn beth bynnag, beth yw'r pwrpas gael ticket office yna? Sy'n llawn beth bynnag. Ymlaen o'n de. Os mae tren yr hydag fel rhiol, os dwi'n cofio iawn y top yn pen flwyddyn yma, sydd David Firth yn cywiro os dwi'n anghywir. 520 yr awr, tanta 520 o Hydref. Ta 6 mis o flwyddyn mae tren yr hydag. Ella bod yn fwy, dwi'n gwybod. Ond dydy hyn o lot o chi i pobl sy'n byw i trigolion lleol i cael gwynebu hyn. Ynde? Bob dynod di lle tren mo'n rhedeg am 6 mis o flwyddyn. Os yn ydi o, o'n i'n gweld bod yn y cynllunia bod yn dangos bod yna clw yna i stor. Os sydd fath y stor, di'n stor coginio, ta di'n stor goed. Cadw bobl yn gynas, dwi'n mwyn gwybod, illa bod yn mor hydag trwy flwyddyn. Dwi'n mwyn bod ni'n gwybod mwy, ynde? Ydy hi lle fat stor, tân, neis, cynnas, Wedi pobl ddim yn piced na sydyn i nôl pan adnodyn. Mynediad wedyn. Wedi cael ei dweud, mae trac bach, dweud y gwir, cael trac i ffarm di affordio, trac bach ydi o, chi'n dibynnu trwy ochr yn fwyd, a wedyn troi yn syth i'r dde ac i fyny. Mae'n dangos y biniau gosbrau ar chor y trac o'r cynlluniau. Mae'n dweud, ydy'r biniau gwastraff yn mynd cael ei gwagio hefo tren, ta dyn nhw'n cael ei gwagio hefo lori sy'n dod o fyny i'r gwagio nhw. Does na chi 80 cyfer o fanna, fy'n a lot o gwastraff. Da ni angen gwybod mwy o hynny. Os di'r lori sy'n dod o fyny, ac i fyny trac na fy'n a fawr y drac ar ôl. A cofiwch wan y stad prifat ydi hon, mae'n y bryder am y peips dŵr ac arthosiaeth gynnyn nhw. Mae bryder gynnyn nhw'n hyn. Nwydda bwyd wedyn. Da chi'n mynd yna bobl dod yna, da chi isio agyrfa, dim panna sydyn, da chi'n cymryd efo llaw, mae'n siŵr bod yn bwyd. Wel, lle mae nwydda bwyd mae'n di ddod, ydy hwnnw'n dod i fyny efo tren? Ydy'n dod i fyny hefo cwmnïau, mae'n gwellwyddio ein, wedi mynd cwmni, mae'n siŵr. Mae cwmnïau sy'n gwneud y math yma o bethau, catering company. Ie? Da chi'n cael nwydda i mewn, unrhyw sy'n cadw caffi, falle'n dall, mae hyn o gyrraedd ar y tymheredd iawn os ydyn nhw'n nwydda perish bwslu, sy'n nhw'n lefrith, hufen, mae hyn o gyrraedd ar y tymheredd iawn. Ydy hynny'n cyrraedd o tren? Mewn casgar? Mae rhai bob, o bosib yn gwneud, dwi'n yn gwybod, ond mae hwnna eto da ni angen gwybod sut mae hyn yn digwydd. Ydyn nhw'n dod i fyny fanna, ydyn nhw ddim. Goliadau, mae yna gwynod i bod ar ysgrifennu dros y blynyddoedd yn y cyngor cymuned, bod y goliadau coch ymlaen trwy y flwyddyn. Law bod ddim trens ar rhedeg am 6 mis, mae goliadau ymlaen trwy flwyddyn. Mae fod yn dark skies, tydi o ddim. A mae nifer i bobl sy'n byw i'ch ben ac yn gorfodsiad y goliadau coch yna. Be fydd yn y adeilad newydd yma? Di fath goliadau yna? Gler o'r paneli solar yma, os mae paneli solar drosto. Felly, argymhelliad gyda dwi'n argymell gwrthod ar y dyluniau rhy fodon a gwahanol i be oedd y gymuned yn ei ddisgwyl. Rydym awr am ni'n roed llawer mwy yn cyrraedd ymweld â'r caffi. A dyna diolch yn fawr.
Iawn, diolch yn iawn, June.
Mae'n gynnig, gynnwch chi June.
Yna gynnig gynnau, di gwrthod.
Dyn ni eisiau eilydd i'r cynnig rwan, cyn gyrru mlaen.
Yna sydd yn arferol, os oes a eilydd.
Serwy yn eilio. Oce, diolch yn iawn. I farod y law di fyny. Oce, iawn. Diolch.
Diolch. Ie. Pob cais dyn ni'n gyfod gweithio fewn cyfryngau policies, be dwi eisiau di eglurhad ar policies paneli solar mewn ardal cadwriaeth yna byd. Sgwylwch yna.
Mae lawr i'r cyd-destun mewn ffordd, felly bob cais ar ei heiddiant, does na ddim un bol sy'n dweud na neu ia, mae fyny i'r cais unigol. Os y polisi ydy unrhyw gais amddiffyn a gwella cymeriad yr ardal gwdwraeth. Felly y casgliad yma ydy bod o ddim yn effaith niweidiol, a bod o'n gadarnhaol ac yn cyd-fynd efo'r ardal. Ond mae'n gasgliad gwahanol gan y pwyllgor, mae hynna'n mwy na 10 hefyd i chi ddod i'r casgliad yna.
Swn i Richard, os e fynylder ar bwyd saith fan yn yr argymelliad, un o'r peth amlwg ydy golau sydd mae'n mynd i effeithio ar status tywyll. Os e fynylder ar pa fath o leda'r sy'n dialu osod yn LEDs, downlighters, dyn nhw'n heb wneud
That is a condition of, if you do go for approval, it will be something that we get in at a later stage, and we'll be able to, sorry, I've got a terrible echo. It'll be something that we consult with our Dark Skies Reserve officer. It'll be LEDs and PIRs. It'll be something that we have experience of other buildings, so that they do fit in with the policies.
Yeah, so they only come on when there's somebody in the vicinity of the place. No.
That will be the aim of it. Yes, I mean that'll be what we'll be achieving, I hope. And all downlighters, no uplighters, and protect Oberon Wood as well.
Going back to the biodiversity aspect.
Yes.
In the proposal, is it possible to increase the amount of habitat corridors, as in planting more hedges rather than fences?
It won't be fences, it will be habitats. And one of the aims that I would want to see is that we replace the oak trees that they did take down, and we can put in 25 new oak trees between the building and Oberon Wood, as well as hedging. And again, we'll be doing that through our tree officer as well, as the best species and locations to put them.
The planting scheme, the landscape scheme will come as part of reserve matters again.
Yes.
It's, just to be clear, it's discharge of condition rather than reserve matters, isn't it?
It's not reserve matters, it is a condition, yes.
Bydd rhaid I nhw gyflwyno gwybodaeth iddyn ni ar gwelliant bioamrywiaeth o dan amod 7 o ddydmoliau ac argoliadau ar amod 8 neu be bynnag oedd o. A wedyn mae rhaid i ni wedyn asesu heina yn erbyn polisi ar cynllun. Ni eisiau bod yn cyd-fynd efo staff isod dywyll, efo gwelliannau bioamrywiaeth. Os da ni'n fodlon, da ni'n gallu caniatáu hynny.
I mean, that's what I see as the advantages. I mean, I fully appreciate what Councillor Jones has mentioned, but this is the advantages of this permission, is that we can put these additional conditions on now. They do have a fallback position where we won't get a biodiversity scheme, we won't get a lighting scheme.
Iawn, diolch yn fawr, Naomi.
A wedyn hynny, oedd Brian wedi codi law.
O, reit, dwi wrth i weld o. OK, Brian.
Thank you, Chairman. In my opinion, the scheme at the moment is an overall improvement to the previous one in terms of design, but I do have some concerns. My initial concern was over the size of the cafe and compared with the previous application and the modification that came through afterwards. And therefore, I'm wondering whether, in fact, whether the judgment that the application effectively is the same in terms of its basic facilities, because the cafe is substantially bigger than the previous one, which was much more incidental to the railway than the current one, which does lead to the question is this a destination or is it there to support the community? My inclination is to say we should be supporting the development of the railway as part of our overall sustainable tourism offer as an alternative way of getting into the heart of the national park, and in which case that should be incidental to it rather than a tourist destination and an experience just in its own sense. And the current application seems to be more towards the latter than the former. So I question the size of the cafe. I also question the cafe in relation to the amount of outdoor seating as opposed to the previous one, which was indoor seating. And the outdoor seating will increase the level of noise in what is, to an extent, a residential area, which is of concern to me. The other relation to noise, which is concerned with the design as it stands at the moment, and that is the air source heat pumps, which are aimed directly at a neighbouring property. Personally, living next door to a house has an external air source heat pump fan, which points away from the property. You do still hear it, and you hear it more in the garden than you do in the house. And if it's going to be operating in the summer, which they do, and I would imagine in a building like that, it probably would do if it's anything associated with heating water or keeping the loos at the right temperature or whatever. It does have the potential to affect the quiet enjoyment of somebody's residential outdoor space. And therefore, if they were positioned somewhere where that wasn't going to happen, that would be preferable. Relating to the solar PV, my own view, even in conservation areas, we should approve them if at all possible, because that's the direction of travel that we've got to go in. One concern I do have with this is reflection. And if that facing the residential properties, not the ones on the flat area, not the further away from the residential areas, but the one on the face that faces the residential area, has got a potential for reflection. That again is something that would concern me for the residents that are adjacent to that site. And I know again from my experience in our valley, with some panels which are nothing to do with a residential development. As you drive up the valley, the reflection off those panels at certain times of the day is quite significant. So I don't know what the situation is with those. And the height, it is slightly lower, but not a lot. And certainly the nearer end to this, if it was reduced, it would be preferable. But to me, that's minor compared with the other points that I've made. I think if they could be satisfied, I would be much more happy to approve it, because I think it's an overall improvement on environmental grounds and design from the previous one.
But just pick up on one aspect there, the reflective photovoltaics. And it is something that maybe I should have put in here. We do on other ones, you can get non-reflective photovoltaics now. And rather than the aluminium bright surrounds, you can get dark, non-reflective surrounds.
It's the glass panel I was meaning rather than the surrounds.
Yes, the panel itself, you can get non-reflective, and maybe that is a condition that we could put on this if you are mindful to approve.
Thank you.
Iawn, diolch yn fawr. Naomi.
Diolch Cadeirydd. Dwi wedi derbyn e-bost gan pobl ar hyn. Ga I just gofyn cwestiwn ynglyn â hynny? Maen nhw'n ofyn, I'll say it in English for the benefit of the officer. They're concerned about the access for retail and the cafe. Although condition 6 restricts construction vehicles, it doesn't, according to them, restrict commercial vehicles, and they're concerned wagons to access to service the cafe and retail operations on an ongoing basis once building has finished. Could you clarify that?
I have had a statement from the railway company who says that no construction traffic will be taken through Oberon Wood, full stop. They're not quite sure, but a lot will arrive by train, but a lot will also arrive by lorry and be craned in from the National Park car park. There will be large steels and that sort of thing, which won't obviously fit onto the small trains. But as I understand it, they do have a right of access through that Oberon Wood and the track to gain access to the railway siding. So we wouldn't be able to condition to say no access through there. So it's not something that I can take into consideration once the building is up and running, unfortunately.
Sorry, Richard, as I understood it, the question related to post-construction.
Yes.
And the use for.
They have a
retailers.
right of access through that track and Oberon Wood for whatever purpose. So post-construction, they would be able to utilize that track as they do now. I have no idea how they use it now, whether they do or not, but they do have a right of access through there, which through the planning acts, we wouldn't be able to override.
Sorry, just a quick follow-up question to you. That does mean, however, that the implications are for the increased size of the cafe, that there would be increased traffic on there because we cannot condition for that on the application. So it is an impact that we cannot mitigate through conditions if the size of the cafe is larger, and therefore there will be more requirements. Is that correct?
I can't disagree with that.
Yeah.
Iawn, awn ni. Oce, diolch yn fawr iawn. Sa rhywun arall eisiau siarad? Dwi'n gweld dim byd ar y sgrin. Gwbl ei weld yma ydy Llyn Naomi.
Delys.
Delyth. Delyth.
Cadeirydd.
Ia.
Just cyn i chi fynd i unrhyw bleidlais ar hwn, just fel bod dwi'n glir ar cynnig June ac yr rhesymau gwrthod, rhaid chi tlodi lot o bethau fanna, dwi wedi trio crynhoi nhw. Yn benodol, dyluniad, byddwn ni fynd fewn i'r manoldeb wrth ar ôl ond dyluniad, gwyndera ar pobl lleol yn gan Gymrys, arogleuon, sŵn, adlewyrchiad peneddi solar. Dyna y ddau prif reswm o gennau. Ddylech chi sôn am effaith ar statws awyr dywyll.
Os fydd sam gwmlas yn just dod ymlaen rhywbeth yn mynd heibio, efaid yn crwydro'r hyd y lein o bod man drwy nos a gwartheg yn big at.
Reit.
Son tromlu yn nos.
Iawn. Dwi wedi sgwennu lawr trafnidiaeth yma. Oedd hwnna rhywbeth?
Oedd, y mynedfa, eto, os oes yna yn cynyddu y llefydd bwyta yn aruthrol, mae hwn ynddo. Mi fydd yna fwy fe rhaid yn cael mwy o nwyddau mewn byth.
Ia, felly mae gen i ryw 4 prif reswm o fanna. Ni wrach braidd, edrych ar y geiriad yn iawn. Diolch.
Iawn, diolch yn iawn. Os nad oes yna rhywun arall eisiau siarad? Gallai'n gweld bod yna law. Sorry?
Can I clarify with Jonathan whether you were including within that the noise from the air source heat pumps?
Yeah, I've included
and the reduction in the size of the cafe without outdoor seating.
Dwi ddim wedi cynnwys hynna, na i ychwanegu hynna os mae June yn sy'n hwnna.
Iawn, da ni'n barod i fynd i bleidlais. Ni pawb sydd dros gynnig June i wrthod, a Meryl yn eilio. Ewch chi ddangos rwan, os gwelwch chi dda.
Pawb yn erbyn? Cynnig June? Mae'r sgrin sy'n symud. Un. Dyma Tracy. 2, 3, 4, 5. Mae dy gario felly 8 i 5.
Iawn, diolch yn iawn. Awn ni mlaen felly i'r ail gais. I'r gen Sori.
Cyn mynd ymlaen i'r ail gais, mae gen i broblemau technegol yma yn Plas, a byddai ni gael gohiriad bach i Rob wedi datrys y sefyllfa. Does gen neb gysylltiad i'r rhwydwaith yna. A felly mae'n amhosib dangos unrhyw sleidiau i chi.
Iawn, awn ni am baned ysel 10 munud, ia?
So ni'n gohirio am ryw 10 munud bach.
Hynny, diolch yn fawr.
Dach chi eisiau ni ail ymuno ta aros?
Aros ymlaen, ie?
Iawn.
Fi'n jyst rhoi bob dim ar mute.
Ie.
Elwyn, mae pawb
Ie.
barod i ddechrau nôl yma, mae'r
Iawn, ocê.
gweithio yma.
Dyna ni, diolch yn fawr iawn. Reit, awn ni ymlaen felly i Aberdyfi. Sophie Berry. Ti'n cyflwyno hwn, ia?
Ia, jyst cyn cychwyn, Gadeirydd, ga i jyst gyflwyno y swyddog achos ar y cais yma bydd, dwi'n meddwl bydd mwyafrif ohonych chi wedi cyfarfod chi. Mae Sophie Berry wedi bod hefyd ers peth amser rwan yn llenwi fyny am un o ddau gaps yn y strwythur staffio. Mae Sophie'n ymgynghorydd cynllunio sydd yn gweithio i Prospero. Da ni wedi bod yn defnyddio Prospero fel da chi'n gwybod ers peth amser. Ia, dyna chi wedi bod yn delio efo cais yma. Hefyd, wneud un cywiriad, man cywiriad yn y fersiwn Gymraeg ar tudalen 28 yn yr trydydd brawddeg o'r paragraff olaf ar tudalen 28. Mi ddylai fod allan, mae coed mewn ardal gwydwraeth yn elwa o statws gwarchodedig a mae'r safle cais yn cael ei nodi fel grŵp coed ar wyth uchel sylweddol. Diolch yn deud hynna, mae'n deud ac nid safle. Felly, jyst ma'n gwiriad ond doedd ddim yn gwneud synwyr yn y fersiwn Gymraeg. Mae'r fersiwn Saesneg yn gywir fel dwi'n dar.
Iawn, diolch yn fawr iawn. Ocê, dwi'n croeso i Sophie gyflwyno hwn, ia?
Diolch, John. I'm just going to share my screen so you can see my presentation. Okay, can you see the screen, the presentation?
Iawn.
Yeah, okay. Right, okay, so this application is to extend the domestic curtilage and construct a domestic garage with workshop and storage area at Greenhill Bungalow off Copper Hill Street in Aberdyfi. The application site is within the conservation area. And as you can see here, the black area is the existing domestic curtilage of the property. It's fairly limited.
Sophie, can I just cut across for 1 second? Is it possible for you to put the PowerPoint presentation onto slideshow because the slides are fairly small on our screen?
Sorry, I can't hear you very well. Fairly small.
Is it possible to put the PowerPoint onto slideshow at all, just so
If you go on slideshow at the top, there we are, and then from beginning, press from beginning, right on the left there. That's it. Should be okay.
There we go. Okay.
There we go. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Right. Okay. So is that better now? Yeah. Okay. So the domestic curtilage of the existing property is pretty limited. There's no existing vehicle parking, and access is via Copper Hill Street and then up the side of the residential development at Havendyfi via a set of steps. So this application will provide a larger garden area and also provide an alternative means of access for users, as well as provide an area of off-street parking for the property. Okay, this is the site as it appears now. Here you can see the neighbouring residential development, and behind is Greenhill Bungalow and its existing curtilage. And this is the area of land in question. You can see that it's been largely cleared of vegetation. There is a small area of fencing remaining, and it's been reprofiled to some degree. If we go on to some more images, this is the image looking up the lane, which provides access from Copper Hill Street. And you can see the adjacent residential properties here, which are a higher level than the application site, and the adjacent garages at Havendyfi are at a slightly lower level. And then there's a railway line which just runs opposite the application site. And then here you can see, this is a view from Copper Hill Street looking up the lane towards the application site, which is sited behind the garages here at Havendyfi. And you can see on the image on the left This is the access which goes to Greenhill Bungalow via the existing steps there. And this is a private parking area serving this residential development. So there's no parking there available for Greenhill Bungalow. Okay, these are historic images of the site, just to give you an idea of what it appeared like before, because on some of the objections we've had, a lot of them have raised issue how the site has been cleared of vegetation. So this was the garage previously, before the residential development was constructed on the adjacent site. You can see there is a hedge boundary, and then when the neighbouring residential development was being constructed, you can see in the distance here there's some scrub planting with the trees on the higher level behind. And if we go on to another image, you can see on the aerial image here the large area of woodland, which is considered to contribute towards the character of the conservation area, extends down from the rear of Greenhill Bungalow and then down into the application site. Obviously, what you can't tell from this aerial image is what the quality of the vegetation was like down on this site at the bottom. And if we look at this later image, after the site had been cleared, you can see there was remnants of a concrete outbuilding, which was on the site previously. There's also an existing vehicle access. So there's an indication that the site was used previously to as access for vehicles, and there was some sort of either garage or storage facility on the site. Obviously, you know, that was it could have been abandoned, and it was completely overgrown prior to the applicant or previous owner clearing the site. And this plan just shows the layout of the existing site with this concrete structure which has now been removed, and the vegetation which has been removed from below. Okay, so the proposal is to construct a garage on the lower part of the site. The garage is it's possible to fit 2 cars inside the garage. It would be single story in height, with accommodation in the roof for storage. Obviously, we would impose a condition which would limit the use of the garage to be ancillary to the domestic dwelling to which it serves. You can see here it doesn't extend above the height of the ridge of the neighbouring property. It's set back from the position of the garages at Havant Dyfi, which you can see here. And then this is just another view showing the difference in levels of the site. So here's the adjacent property on the right hand side of the image, and then you can see the land slopes down towards Havant Dyfi and the position of the garage there on the application site with the access behind. The land to the rear, there would be steps built into the landscapes into the land to the rear to provide access up onto the higher ground, and then to the domestic curtilage of Greenhill Bungalow. And there's also be a sloped path which would provide access for disabled users, or an alternative means of access for the neighbouring property as well. And this is the plan view of it here. So you can see you've got the garage adjacent to Havant Dyfi. You can see the parking and turning area, the access, and then the paths which travel from the lower area into the extended curtilage, which is this area behind Greenhill Bungalow, and then also provides access to the neighbouring property as well. Previously, the original application included a much larger area of curtilage, but we negotiated that this should be reduced because we wanted to minimise the potential impact and pressure to remove trees in the area outside within the domestic curtilage, and also to limit the domestic paraphernalia which might spill into those areas. Although it's part of the settlement boundary, and the extension of the curtilage is acceptable in principle, obviously we were mindful that we wanted to retain this area that it's considered to contribute significantly towards the character and appearance of the conservation area in general. Okay, so in terms of the design of the actual building itself, it's considered acceptable. It is in character with and in keeping with the appearance of the adjacent buildings that happen to be. There's no impact in terms of neighbouring amenity in terms of loss of light. The extension of the curtilage itself, it will improve amenity for Greenhill Bungalow. It will also improve amenity for the wider area in terms of taking reducing pressure for on-street parking, because it will provide an area of off-street parking for the occupants of Greenhill Bungalow itself. Obviously, the primary considerations which were raised in objection letters were about the clearance of the land. The Community Council also objected in terms of the land clearance, the design of the building itself, the potential impact on the amenity of neighbouring properties. There was also an ownership issue which was raised at the time of when the application was made. However, we've received documentation from the applicant to suggest that from the land registry to confirm that he is the owner. If there's a private civil dispute between landowners, then that can be addressed separately outside the planning application, but we've consulted with our legal team and all the relevant requirements have been met in terms of the procedure order, the relevant notices have been displayed. There was also a further issue with the Community Council and neighbours raising the issue of mines in the area. This wasn't an issue for the neighbouring development. We've also consulted directly with NRW, Environmental Health and the North Wales Minerals and Waste body directly in respect of this issue, and none of them have returned an objection in respect of that matter. So any direct issue on site would be at the owner's risk, but we can't see that there's any issue or risk for the wider area in respect of that. So I should go back to the conclusion here. So yes, so in terms of the vegetation clearance, like I said, there's an objection from the neighbours in respect to this. Our heritage officers also raised it as a concern. However, what's worth noting is an application was submitted prior to this one or in tandem with this one to remove trees in the conservation area. That has been granted. And also several of the trees were of such a size where they didn't require consent. So now that the site has been cleared, this has either been approved or exempt from requiring consent. So what we're left with is a clear site. So this application actually offers an opportunity now to enhance that site through improved landscaping. So although landscaping is proposed as part of the scheme in terms of wildflower planting and hedging, we suggested the inclusion of an additional landscaping condition to enhance it further. So this application provides an opportunity to do that. We've also considered there'll be no adverse impact on the neighbouring properties, which I mentioned previously. So the recommendation is to grant the application subject to the relevant conditions in the report. Thank you.
Mae'r argymhelliad yn deud o'r wahanol o'r hyn, dydi? Wrthod caniatâd? Lluniau mae'r ysymau nodir?
Caniatau. Caniatau.
Permit to grant permission.
Ie, gwrthod sy'n gynnau ar y sgrin. Argymhelliad.
Mae'r ddau yn deud gwahanol.
Mae 'na wahanol.
Ar yr argymhelliad ar y...
Ie, felly jyst i fod yn clir, mae'r PowerPoint yn anghywir, mae'r papur y Pwyllgor yn llwyr.
Yndi, cymeradwyo felly, ie? Iawn, sylwi eisiau siarad? Diolch o'r iawn, Sophie, am hynna.
Mae ddau law i fyny yma.
Ia, mynd i gynnig yr argymhelliad dwi'n nabod yr ardal y dda iawn ac diolch ond yn mynd i wella.
Diolch yn fawr, sylwi arall sy'n siarad?
Mae llaw i fod i fyny.
Ifor
A Brian, ond llaw i fod i fyny gyntaf.
Ifor?
Hapus i eilio'r argymhelliad, jyst eisiau cadarnhad, ydy jyst yn sbio, dwi'n meddwl beth ydy'r Cymraeg i suds, Sophie. This comes under suds, I take it. Yeah. Yeah, because it's a certain size.
Yeah, they'll be required to submit a SUDS application. It does exceed 100 square meters in terms of the overall development. So yeah.
Iawn, diolch.
Diolch yn fawr. Brian?
I wanted to inquire, I can't remember, I don't recall seeing anything to do with external lighting, but is it possible to condition any external lighting meets the dark skies supplementary guidance on lighting?
Apologies, I didn't hear that question.
Oh, sorry. The question was to do with external lighting, both on the path, steps and the building. Is it possible to have that condition so that it meets dark sky recommendations?
Yeah, we are able to attach a condition with regards to lighting. I'm just double checking the conditions. I don't think we've added that condition. So yes, we're able to attach a relevant condition, yeah.
Iawn, diolch yn iawn, Brian, diolch yn iawn. Sophie, fan'na. Sa rywun arall yn siarad? Oes e eilydd I gynnig Edgar? Bod ni'n caniatáu.
Oes, mae hi'n barod eilio'n barod.
Reit, oce, diolch yn iawn.
Na I just gofyn I Edgar, ydy o'n hapus i'r awgrymiad Brian gael ei gynnwys yn ei argymhelliad o? Iawn.
Oce, rawn ni bleidles felly. Pawb sydd o blaid y cynnig I ganiatáu, newch chi ddangos os gwelwch chi dda.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 12. Wel, mae'n digario, ond ydych yn erbyn?
Ia.
Oce, mae'n digario.
Iawn, diolch yn fawr. Trio dileu hwnna, dwi Iwan. Reactions. Oce. Awn ni mlaen felly I Lan am ymwddwy, penant llan am ymwddwy. Sy'n gachos Thomas o'n hyn.
Bydd ni'n rhaid John yn ystafell aros.
Mi na I roed, un o bydd gynnedd, na roed John o'n, reit. So John, dwi'n rhaid yn ystafell aros am y tro, oce? Iawn, a John yn ystafell aros o.
Iawn, diolch yn fawr. Ydyn Dafydd, I gyflwyno hwn?
Ie, fi sy'n cyflwyno hwn. Na I rannu'r sgrin. Dyma cais rhif NP5 74 498A a mae'n ymwneud â rywio amod a dileu amod yn gysylltiedig â hen gais cynllunio NP5 74 498. Roedd y cais hanesyddol hwn yn ymwneud â creu trac ar y mynedfol clochif I sicrhau mynediad I cynnal gwaith adfer i'r mewndiroedd. Cafodd y cais ei chymeradwyo efo amodau yn ôl y mis Mai 2022 yn y Pwyllgor cynllunio. Roedd amod rhif 2 o'r cais yma yn tynnu sylw at leihau lled y trac o 3.2 metr I 1.6 metr a roedd amod rhif 4 yn ymwneud â yn gorchymyn bod rhaid lleihau lled y trac o fewn y 12 mis nesaf yn dilyn y cais cynllunio. Mae'r cais cynllunio bresennol felly yn ymwneud yn newid amod rhif 2 I dileu y sylwadau o leihau'r trac a I cael gwared o amod rhif 4 sy'n meddwl all y trac aros yn 3.2 metr o lled. Dyma lleoliad trac, gweler ar map, mae wedi lleoli'r gogledd o Llawn y Mawddwy a'r llefrau y fol cochif ac i'r gogledd o Ffarm Pennant. A dyma chydig o lluniau yn dangos lleoliad y trac. llun o'r heol cyfagos gyda'r trac wedi lleoli ar ochr chwith y mynydd fan hyn. A dyma llun drôn o'r trac jyst yn dangos y mynydd ac yn dangos y trac eto. Fel y sonwyd, cafodd y trac ei gymeradwyo drwy gais cynllunio hanesyddol a cafodd y trac ei gwblhau yn haf 2022. Mae'r trac wedi cael ei cynllunio gyda lled o 3.2 metr ar hyn o bryd ar gyfer peirianneg mawr ar gyfer gwneud gwaith cynnal a chadw ar y mawndir. Yn asesu'r cais yma, y polisi pwysig i'w ystyried felly yw polisi datblygu 2 a polisi strategol. Mae polisi datblygu 2 yn sôn am effaith datblygiad ar y tirwedd. Fel y nodwyd, mae'r trac mynediad wedi leoli tu ôl i llethrau amlyca bog clochydd ac felly gyda ychydig iawn o welededd o ardaloedd cyfagos o heolydd cyfagos a llwybrau cyhoeddus. Ni ellid adnabod y trac yn hawdd o unrhyw man cyhoeddus ac o'r heol cyfagos sy'n rhwng Llan y Mawddwy a o Llanuwchllyn i Dinas Mawddwy. Rydym yn ystyried fysa mynd nôl at y mynydd i wneud mwy o gwaith peirianneg i ceisio leihau'r trac yn arwain effaithiau negyddol pellach ar y tirwedd gan wneud ddim llawer effaith o gwbl yn lleihau welededd y trac. Hynny yw byswch yn gallu gweld y trac fel y mae yn gyda lled yn llai hefyd. Ond mewn ymgais i ceisio leihau unrhyw effaith weledol sydd yn bodoli, mae'r tirfeiddianwr wedi cynnig mynd allan ar y safle taflu grass seeds dros y trac i ceisio hybu tyfiant ar y trac, ac fel y nodwyd yn y papurau, mae nifer y goed yn mynd i cael ei plannu yn yr ardal hefyd, bydd hefyd yn helpu i atal unrhyw effaith weledol y trac. Polisi strategol yn sôn am pwysigrwydd brwydro yn erbyn newid hinsawdd, ac mae'n bwysig cofio taw pwrpas y trac yw i cynnal sicrhau bod peiriannau yn gallu gwneud gwaith cynnal a chadw ar y mynydd. Felly yn seiliedig ar destun polisi yma dylig sy'n sicrhau gallu gwneud unrhyw waith adfer yn pwysig yn y dyfodol, future-proof o'r trac, mae'n bwysig yn bod yn cefnogi'r cais yma. Ac felly, mewn casgliad, yn dilyn cwblhau'r trac mynediad, mae'n amlwg mae effaith weledol bychan mae y trac wedi cael ei cael, a bysau lleihau'r trac o 3.2 metr i 1.6 metr ddim yn cael unrhyw effaith arwyddocaol ar sail effaith weledol y trac. Mae'r trac yn barod wedi cael ei leoli tu ôl i wyneb amlycaf bog clochydd, sydd yn meddwl bod e'n anodd i weld o unrhyw mannau cyhoeddus o'r heol cyhoeddus ac yn y blaen. Ac yn olaf, yn bwysig, pwrpas y trac yw i gwneud gwaith cynnal a chadw ar yr mawndir yn y frwydr yn erbyn newid hinsawdd, ac mae cadw y trac a 3.2 metr yn fath o future-proof o'r trac i cael mynediad i wneud y gwaith pwysig yma. Ac felly, ar ôl pwys y mesur, yr argymelliad yw i cymeradwyo'r cais.
Iawn, diolch yn fawr iawn, Dafydd. Ni aros i'r sgrin, ydyn ni hôl, ie. I'r pwyllgor, na ni, diolch yn fawr iawn. Rwy'n eisiau siarad, Ifor?
Ie, diolch yn fawr, Cadar. Un cwestiwn gyffredinol i ddechrau fo, yn tudalen 43, gen ni'r tirfeiddianwyr yn geisydd, ond Wedyn, rheswm yr adroddwyd cais i'r Pwyllgor, cais gan awdurdod Parc Cenedlaethol Eryri. So, pwy sy'n gofyn am caniatâd?
Mae'r cais yn cael ei cyflwyno ar ran y tir fyddiannwr gan y parc.
Diolch yn fawr. Yn sgil hynny, gan fod o wedi lliniaru a angen mynd i fyny i'r mynydd i datblygu'r ardal yna i fod yn darn fawnog sy'n hoffi cymeradwyo yna.
Iawn, diolch yn iawn Ifor. Sa rhywun eilio Ifor? Iawn, diolch. Edgar, rhaid siarad?
Na, mynd i gynnig ni, mae'n bwysig bod hwn yn cael ei fasol. Dwi'n cymnogi'r...
Iawn, os rhywun arall yn awyddus i siarad? Dwi'n gweld neb, felly awn ni bleidlais. Pawb sydd o blaid, caniatáu, newch chi ddangos os gwelwch chi dda.
Mae di gario.
Iawn, diolch yn iawn.
Cyn i chi fynd ymlaen i'r eitem nesaf, mi wna i ddod â John yn ôl i'r gyfarfod, ie?
Diolch.
Mae John yn ôl, wedi gamno o ddim ymlaen yma nôl.
Iawn, diolch yn fawr. Awn ni ymlaen felly i'r rhestr achosion cydymffurfiaeth. Mae'n gychwyn ar hydalen 61. Mae'n eisiau fforddio rhywbeth? 62.
Mr. Chairman, is it possible that I could just make a comment in relation to the beginning of the compliance case list? Conscious that members will note that we've stipulated that there was no new cases to report for this month. That basically the reason for this is due to the fact that the short turnaround between committees, between the April Committee and May Committee, and the deadlines involved. It's also the fact that there was a period of time that the people have been on leave and so forth. So it's not been possible to actually collate the cases, but I can assure you that the next committee that there will be plenty of new cases because we'll have caught up with the backlog on those. Thank you.
Iawn, diolch yn iawn, Jen. Awn ni ymlaen i dalen 62. 63.
Mae llaw Sarah Hatley fyny, dim yn saff iawn os eisiau.
Reit, Sarah.
Hen lawd y grid.
Hen lawd, ie. Oce, iawn, diolch. 63. 64. 65. 66.
Law fyny.
Llaw i fyny gan
Edgar eisiau siarad.
Reit.
Mae gen i bwyllgor cymuned wrth nesaf yma. A maen nhw'n gofyn am cyffredin o hyd beth sy'n mynd ymlaen. Mae'n mynd ymlaen ers blynyddoedd, mae'n 21 yma. Mae'n fwy debyg i 11 nôl na'r 21.
Ar un diwedd, Edgar?
Ar tudalen 65, 19.
19. Castell Cydwm, ie? Betws Garmon?
Ia. Mae'n edrach yn fler, mae'n mynd ers blynyddoedd wedyn, mae'n amser fath cael ei wneud am hwn.
Reit.
A da ni'n gweld yn symud o gwbl.
Sori wedi rhad?
Bod nhw'n dweud bod yna rhywbeth asiant wan am beth am, does am byd i weld yn digwydd o gwbl.
Ie, mae'n meddwl o'n hyn, dim diweddariad pellach i'r pwyllgor hwn, ynddo?
Ie, mae'n dweud nes deg mlynedd.
Nawn ni rhywbeth i'r pwyllgor nesaf felly, cael? Os ti'n gwelwch chi dda?
Yeah, just the next committee will provide you with an update. It's David that's been handling that case, so we'll make sure that we'll provide that soon.
There was progress at one point. We were in dialogue with the owner and agent on it, but it's gone quiet unfortunately recently. So.
Iawn, diolch yn iawn. Iawn, Edgar?
Iawn, iawn.
Dalen 66. 67.
Mae Dilwyn efo i law i fyny.
Dilwyn, reit.
Gai, diolch yn ddweud. Rhif 32 i gochwyn Llys Meddyg yn Pemachnol.
Mae swyddogion ymwybodol o be oedd yma, ac fel mae o'n deud mae'r drysau sydd wedi cael ei rhoi wedi cael ei gostwn i fod fel oedd isio. Ond fel bydd y swyddogion yn gwybod, mi ddaru'r perchenog adeg hynny gytuno nad dim ond mynediad i gael rhoi olew yn y tanc oedd, wel, o'n i mewn cyngor cymuned penachno dwytha yma, ac hwan mae yna un o'r carfans mobile homes yma wedi i'w parcio y tu fewn i'r drysau, ac o'n i'n meddwl swn i jyst dod â fo fyny na bod o gweithio wneud y cyngor cymuned sgwennu chi hefyd, ond yn ei gylchol. Ar rhif 29, gai ddeud mod i falch iawn o weld y bod yna sbwysiad o dan adran 215 yn cael ei drafftio ar hyn o bryd, ac dwi'n siŵr byddwn ni yn dilyn hwnna i fyny yn y dyfodol. Diolch Cadeirydd.
Iawn, diolch yn fawr iawn am hynna. Dalen 28. 29. 70.
Anwen efo'i llaw i fyny.
Rhaid ia.
Diolch. Rhif 46, Hyrn Del, Gwynaf Dydwydd. Mae yna dipyn o bobl o'r ardal, dim dyffryn, ond o'r ardal ar Dydwy'n dod at ei gofyn beth sy'n digwydd yma hyn, achos maen nhw'n dal i weithio yna, a mae'n cadw'r, wel, mae o'n hyll o beth, dwi'n gwybod bod yna ymweliad safla di bod, mae'r mater cael ei drafod. Oes yna rhyw ddiweddoriad efo hyn, achos maen nhw'n dal i gario ymlaen i weithio yna, ynde? A di'r ychdwr yn fel yn cael ei leihau o gwbl.
Alice is the case officer on this.
Dwi'n clywed, Alice. Dwi'n siŵr os di'r
I can provide you with an update. But I know that she's in discussion with the agents because it appears that there is a discrepancy with the height. And I understand that potentially a further site visit will be carried out so we can determine whether it's the case that just in terms of the site levels, but looking at the levels that there is a discrepancy there. So she is in discussion with the agent. And my understanding is a further site visit will be taking place in due course, but it is definitely ongoing.
Da chi'n clywed fi wan? Oh, sorry. Just i adio beidio Jane, dwi wedi siarad nhw'n y bore yma, a da ni am drefnu ymweliad safle efo'r asiant i drafod am mellach hefyd, so mae bethau dal yn cael ei trafod ar y funud.
Iawn, diolch yn fawr.
Iawn, diolch yn fawr iawn. Dalen 70 yn fan'na. 71.
Dwi'n gai ofyn ar rhif 12, Gareth Brech. Mae llythyr di anfon at yr pechinog ar ys ymatab. Does am golwg o matab, mae'n siŵr nag oes gen y pechinog 13 Gareth Brech.
Alice.
O ia, sori. Na, does na ddim atab wedi cael ei derbyn ar hwnna eto, felly does na ddim diweddariad bellach ar hwnna ar y funud.
Iawn, diolch yn fawr. Dalen 72. 73. 74. A 75. 76. 77. 78. A 79.
Anwen efo llaw i fyny.
Reit, Anwen.
Diolch, eto. Rhif 70 a dalen 79. Westi mae syniad, jyst fel un mae hwn yn dymlaen ysgrifennu. Oes na gais wedi cael ei gyflwyno eto?
Dal i aros fel ydw yn un.
Ie, dwi'n meddwl da ni dal i aros am gais. Mae Elin, mae hi wedi bod yn
yn siarad efo nhw am y cais, felly dwi'n meddwl bod ni'n debygol o gael derbyn cais yn reit fuan, ond ar y funud dim mynd i dderbyn.
Ie, mae yna bryder yn yr ardal beth sy'n mynd ymlaen yna de, pa ddefnydd sy'n wedi cael ei wneud o'r cyn-westyn olwg am y blynedd.
Ie, fel dwi'n dall, mae Elen wedi bod i'r safle hefyd, felly mae gen ni syniad rydda beth sy'n mynd ymlaen yna.
Ie, diolch yn fawr.
Iawn, diolch. A dyna ni yn yr adran yna. Wedyn, dyn ni'n ymlaen i cytundebau adran 106 gwybodaeth. Dalen 81. Ia, Edgar?
Efo rhif 2, ydy hwnna'n agos o ddiben o'n cyfo hwn yn ymlaen ys dipyn de?
That's the permission has been issued this week. Monday, I think it was. That's
been passed.
It's gone through now, yes.
Okay.
They've signed up to section 106 and provided the first instalment of the community design.
Okay, thank you. Right, diolch.
Iawn, diolch yn fawr. Isiadau sy'n destyn cytundeb adran 106 sydd wedi cwblhau eto Merthyr Isaf Harlech. Yw gwestiwn yn fan'na? Nad oes. Isiadau na phenderfynwyd arnynt. 13 wythnos am mwy. Mewn trafodaeth gyda'r asiant ar ymgeisydd ar gwybodaeth ar tudalen 84. 85.
Llaw Anwen i fyny.
Anwen?
Iawn, y pedwerydd i lawr, Fferm Caedu Harlech. Beth yw'r diweddariad efo hwnna? Mae'r ymgeisydd i gofyn i holi ydy'r asiant wedi cysylltu.
Dyn ni'n aros am fwy o cynllunio fi wrth yr asiant a dyn ni yn y proses o cael ymweliad safle gyda'r ymgeisydd hefyd.
Iawn, diolch.
Gai ofyn cwestiwn ar yr un o'i flaen o Nant Teos Dyffryn Trosi i dyn marchad agored. Be di ystyr hwnna?
So, apologies, which one?
Non-Teos.
Non-Teos. Yeah, my understanding from the case officer in relation to that one is that we're waiting for information from the agent in relation to section 106 details. I understand the letter just has recently been sent out in relation to that. So it's in relation, we're waiting for details in relation to the 106.
Ond os ydy ddim eisiau'r adran 106, bydd yna dal cymunedol yn fan'na bydd?
Bydd, dyna be fydd y cytundeb 106 yn cyfeirio at.
Iawn, oce. Iawn, diolch yn fawr.
Mr Cadeirydd, ddod yn ôl.
Iawn.
Ei ofyn a ddweud, beth sy'n digwydd efo'r cyn gapel Tabernacles, dwi'n fawr, mae gymaint o stia, mae'n rhaid dweud bod y cais wedi cael ei basio, bod y gwaith yn wedi cael ei wneud. Dwi'n yn gwybod mae hwnnw'n edrych yn fawr bler a fanno yn ganol gwybod bod stryd fawr Harlech yn edrych yn bler dwy thraw, ond mae di fan hyn ddim yn helpu'r achos ynddo.
A hwnna Fferm Caedu yn yr rhaglen fan hyn, dydy?
Ie, mae o dan hwnnw'n dydy. Cyn gapel Tabernacles.
So rwy'n gallu...
The case officer is still in discussion with the applicant and agent in respect to that application. It hasn't been approved as such yet. It's still ongoing and deliberations are still taking place. But I'll hopefully be able to provide with more of an update with the next committee.
Iawn, diolch. Rwy'n arall ar dalen 85?
Just, tir yn maes yr allan dros y gwaliau.
Ia.
Be dyn ni'n disgwyl efo'r dau pod yma?
Meddwl ar y cais yna dyn ni'n aros am cynllun fferm o fiwr.
Dwi'n meddwl, so mae'n busnes.
Diolch yn fawr. Stela 86 ac 87. Fewn ni ymlaen i geisiadau wedi caniatáu wedi gwybodaeth. Stela 89. 90 a 91. So ryw gwestiwn gen i fi? Fewn ni ymlaen wedi 92 geisiadau wedi gwrthod. Eto'r gwybodaeth. 94. A dar ni fo'r hynna, wedyn penderfyniad apel i beth ola sydd gyda ni. Dyna fo, os o'ch rhywun gwestiwn? Diolch yn fawr i chi. Gen ni wedi gorffen felly do?
Iawn.
Iawn.
Da record wedi ben felly.
Diolch yn fawr i chi. Hwyl wan.